Well, this might turn out to be a hell of a scene. We're talking about the British Columbia Legislature perhaps becoming involved in a lawsuit with a well-known YouTuber. That's right, we're talking about Mr. Sunshine Baby. Let's get into this. Ladies and gents, welcome back. Now, before we get into this story, I just want to make an announcement that tonight, if you're in Victoria, I'll be at the We Unify Speakers Series. That's right. And you don't have to be in Victoria to check this out. The virtual tickets are available online, and you can actually watch this streaming live at the time. So it's by donation. I'll leave a link in the description down below. It's by donation, so you can go check it out and watch this online at your leisure. This is really good. It's going to be Dr. William Mackis, Dr. Anna Kindy, who's a British Columbia MLA, getting into the Legislative Assembly in this video, and then myself will be speaking in front of a live audience, and you can check this out virtually. Now let's get into this. The story today is Mr. Sunshine Baby, a YouTuber, more well known than I am even on this platform, turns out is having a spat with the NDP and on the provincial level in British Columbia here. This was the scene. I'll let it speak for itself. Here's a tweet that Mr. Sunshine Baby put out. When I got invited to attend question period at the BC Legislature, I had no idea I was gonna cause a meltdown with the NDP. This is the scene here.
The Leader of the Opposition got up and said some words about standing up for Canada. Well, it's important that we all stand up for Canada. And I'm a firm believer, Honourable Speaker, that when you wear the hat, you support the team. And so when we hear from a Leader of the Opposition, when we hear... Members. Thank you, Honourable Speaker. So I won't address all the issues I have with the opposition when it comes to those on his side who want to wear a MAGA hat. But I do have a question for the Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Speaker. Does he think it's appropriate, Honourable Speaker? Does he think it's appropriate that a member of his caucus stands up in this House today and introduces someone known as Mr. Sunshine Baby, seated in the gallery? And I'll tell you what it has to do, Honourable Speaker, because yesterday the person that introduced by this caucus, Honourable Speaker, posted a video that said, "The fat pig Doug Ford in Ontario is ready to cut off the power and Liberals are cheering him on." This is quite literally, by definition, an act of war. Honourable Speaker, does the Leader of the Opposition think it's appropriate for a member of his caucus to introduce somebody like that when tariffs are the greatest issue we face?
Rabble, of course. Now, what was really interesting about this comment was he was more offended by the verbiage of calling Doug Ford a fat pig rather than what Doug Ford said, which was, could be considered an act of war, and that would be cutting off the power to millions of people in the United States because of a trade spat with the United States. Now, well, let's get into this. So once again, Doug Ford is threatening to cut off the power to 1.5 million homes in America, says Sunshine Baby on X. What about hospitals, electric heating, ventilators, schools? This is mental for Canada to advocate for this. I think it's wrong. It's the wrong approach, and it most definitely have severe consequences socially, economically, and politically. Now, obviously, in the BC Legislature, they're using this as a political points. They're trying to use this for political points, but flying right over their heads that we have free speech and we're allowed to call people fat pigs if we want to, and we can call out their behavior. But this is obviously they're going to contribute by adding more behavior to the pile to be criticized in this. Now, Mr. Sunshine Baby asking Grok, why is Canada trying to commit an act of war by cutting off the power to millions of Americans? Would it be an act of war? And yes, the reality is this could be considered an act of war. You can't just cut off power to hospitals and schools and people who would freeze in the cold. But this is, again, it's all political posturing. Now, Mr. Sunshine Baby is wondering if maybe it's time to lawyer up. He says on X, time to lawyer up. It's unacceptable, reckless, and extremely dangerous that the BC Premier David Eby is calling me a far-right extremist YouTuber. There have already been death threats to me and my family for CTV's coverage in this last week. Now, where is this coming from? What's coming from? They're doubling down. That's right. And Mark Nixon, thanks for putting this up on X. This is the video here where David Eby is calling Mr. Sunshine Baby a far-right YouTuber with extremist views. Hold on. Where have we heard that kind of language before? I think we've heard that before.
The small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views.
Oh yeah, that's right. We know where that comes from. Here it is. Here's Mr. David Eby doubling down on this one, and well, let's just listen to what he has to say here.
See, Conservatives, 3 MLAs, no longer part of that caucus. It should be an interesting question period today. What's your reaction? What are your thoughts on this? We're going to see maybe an additional fourth party in the House. What are your thoughts generally on what unfolded in the last few days?
Yeah, I think, John Rustad did the right thing. It took him too long, but he did do the right thing. It's necessary to stand up for residential school survivors. It's necessary to stand up for our partnership with Indigenous people in this province. That's the way forward for this province to grow our economy and ensure everybody's vote rises. And so that's good. He has some more work to do around members of his caucus that are expressing openly anti-Canadian perspectives, pro-Trump perspectives. And I would encourage him to not stop here, to ensure that his members reflect the values that we all have as Canadians. And I'll just cite a couple of examples. The fact that members of his caucus that are still there couldn't bring themselves to vote to condemn tariffs, to target Republican states, to be part of Team Canada, that they voted against that motion is a very troubling sign. The fact that Brian Tepper stood up in the House and introduced as a patriot a YouTuber that literally apologized to the United States for Canada's retaliation, who called Doug Ford's electricity tariff a war crime. This was a man introduced in the legislature by a Conservative member as a patriot. So John's got some work to do if he wants to ensure that the extremist views in his party are addressed.
Oh, extremist views in his party are addressed. Now, I have to say, John Rustad recently, he booted a member of his party out for saying things about, I think it was residential schools. I think that was uncalled for. I really think that was uncalled for. And it's left a rift in the Conservative Party, which they're just capitulating to the demands of the far left extremists, we could call that. Hey, how about the far left with their extremist views? Yeah, it's left a rift in the Conservative Party, which is quite disappointing to see, many of us were very excited about what was happening with the Conservative Party. Unfortunately, this is the nature of the beast. Yeah, lots of people find themselves divided and capitulating to leftist demands. But here we are with David Eby spouting off words about a free citizen in the country and his point of view and what he's allowed to say and what he's not allowed to say. Well, I'll give you a little bit of a hint here, David Eby. We still do have freedom of speech in this country, and we're still allowed to have our own opinions on what it is that you do in the government. That's right. And what, Ontario's government does, what Doug Ford's decisions are. Yeah, we're allowed to have our point of view on this one. And I'm going to have to come to the backing of Mr. Sunshine Baby on this one, and protect his free speech and his ability to say whatever he wants, even if it's incendiary and even if he's calling Mr. Doug Ford a fat pig. That's right. It's well within his right to do so. And if you have a problem with it, well, how about you take it up with him? Perhaps, maybe have a discussion with him yourself. He's obviously got contacts. You can talk to him on your own instead of trash talking him in the media. Let's throw that one out there. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think. I met Mr. Sunshine Baby not last weekend, the weekend before, in Nanaimo at the BC Conservative Convention. He was a nice guy. He was a fantastic dude. So let me know what you think about him, about this situation in the comments down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trekking.